pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. On this evening's agenda, we'll be discussing the Hawker's Peddler's license that had come up last week. General discussion on what occurred at the transfer station this weekend, some old and new business, then we're gonna take a break before our public hearing at 7. So let's get this going on the Hawker's Peddler's license. I didn't reach out to Eric Olson, but I did, speak to a couple residents and they didn't see any, issues with it.
Yeah.
Like there's no, knee-jerk reaction or anything, so I feel fine, giving approval for this. What do you?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Lou?
I looked at it and he passed all of the state requirements and I couldn't see any reason to deny it.
Okay. And then the next part of that was he was, had asked if we'd be interested in waiving the fee or willing to waive the $50 fee.
And that's something, I guess, historically, what have we done?
It's the way we've always done
Doesn't
it.
matter.
Yeah.
I know.
He said a lot of towns were either waiving it or cutting it in half. He
Yeah.
gets reimbursed for it by the company, but he has to put the money up front,
Yeah, and
so,
when I asked, he didn't give a specific reason why he needed it waived or why he was
Right.
asking. He just said, I
Right.
figured I'd ask, so.
yeah.
Well, we have a representative of all the residents in town.
Mr. Hill, would you like to weigh in?
On what?
Sorry to put you on.
Yeah.
I'm just here to see what you guys are doing.
Yeah. No, we're looking at deciding whether or not to waive a $50 fee for someone that's gonna be doing door-to-door sales in town. And right, so,
I would agree with Jason, what has the town done historically, not other towns, our town? Has that ever come up before?
And we had no precedent to go off.
I don't
No
recall,
precedent at all.
don't recall.
I only remember one in the past 5-6 years since I've been here.
Applications.
And I don't think they asked to waive the fee, to my recollection, but I'm not 100% sure.
Were these educational books?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, where does the money go if he does pay it?
General fund on this, so
General fund.
Yeah,
I think we just,
just let it go, waive the fee.
and with the clause that this is not setting a precedent for every hawker and peddler that comes into town.
Yeah, see, that's the thing,
Yeah.
But we haven't had, like you've said,
yeah,
it's just not
it's
common
very
nowadays.
infrequent.
Yeah.
Wanna go halvesies anyways then?
I'd say either waive it
Can we?
or
Yeah.
charge it.
What do you
Halves
think,
is
Lou?
nothing.
I'd say, since it's educational materials, I don't see a problem with waiving it.
Okay, I'll waive it. Alright, so I'll make a motion to approve the permit for Ragnar Kopilama to do hawking, peddling, or
sell books.
sale to sell books. And we will be waiving the $50 fee. Is there a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we don't have to sign off on this, Debbie, right? Or,
I think you did, on the
Okay.
bottom. Or I can sign it, I think.
alright, next. The transfer station. I had quite a few people reach out to me, stating concern with how the transfer station was run this weekend. Number one issue, it seemed to be having to wait out on Turnpike Road for 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know if that was an exaggeration or not, but you know, multiple people gave that same time frame.
Wow.
I was there too, and it was about 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Okay. You know, so I touched base with Debbie on Sunday, or I sent an email, and then we spoke yesterday about it. I guess you have some information.
Yep, I talked to Peter about it, what is that? Oh, good. Sorry.
So I know we already discussed it, but so that we have it,
Yes.
you know, during our meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I talked to Peter about, you know, what happened, and he said that Roger volunteered to go up and check stickers, which is awesome because the two guys that are there during the week don't have time to do that a lot of times. Sometimes they do. So the revenue that has been missing apparently weekly was about $1,700 difference.
Weekly?
Weekly. So normally we take in between $800 and $1,000 a week, and this Saturday we took in $2,800 because people were getting they had to have the sticker, so they had to pay for the sticker. He turned a few people away that weren't from town that were trying to come in, and like we don't know how long this has been going on. And charging people for what they were throwing away, throwing away carpet or you know what I mean? So everything has a price on it, so he was charging everybody up front, so once they went in, it was get rid of it, and get out, because they already had all the,
Yep.
he was collecting the money, he was checking for stickers, selling stickers and all that. So that's quite a difference so it seems like a lot of people have just been going to the transfer station and not getting
Yeah.
their sticker and not paying for their bags and not paying for what they're throwing out. And the hard part is that the town has to pay to get rid of this stuff. So if you're not paying to throw it out, the town's losing money, so it's coming out of all of our pockets anyways, you know, because we're all taxpayers, so if we have to pay extra to whoever we get rid of the stuff to, here we are.
Not
I know.
weekly though, that's a one-time surge, right, cause the stickers are 2 years.
The stickers are
Correct.
2 years, but it wasn't all stickers, it was,
Yeah, it was, they could have separated that cost, but
yeah,
it's something I've noticed before, and you've heard me say it at the town meetings
Yeah.
before, we're losing money.
yep,
Mhm.
I think I said it at the budget sessions.
yep,
You know, the two guys get overwhelmed, there's people that come and throw non-town bags in and don't
Yep.
pay.
yep,
People without stickers, you
Yep.
know, and all of us honest people, that just hurts us.
exactly,
Okay.
yep,
Now, if I recall from years gone by, that transfer station has never paid for itself. Even when they did have someone at the gate. I think I was at one of the meetings, you may have been there on the board,
Yeah.
where it was said, you know what, it's a town service and
Yeah, no, I know it's, you know,
can't
been brought
expect a
up.
profit.
Yeah, we weren't looking for a profit, but
Just to
for it to
break
pay
even.
for itself.
we don't wanna have to pay
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
because some people are paying for their stuff and other people aren't. If I went there every week and just threw my stuff and left, and you went there every week and threw the same amount of stuff and you paid for yours,
I know,
that's not
I
fair.
know, it is
We're
not
all
fair.
paying taxes.
And now, was there
You know.
any feedback from the guys who work at the transfer station?
I got some.
What did they think of having someone check?
They were hoping that was going to help people realize that they really could use a third person over there instead of just two. There was Debbie got a copy of a note from Steve where he wanted to rearrange how things were because he, like where the metal goes is out of sight of where they are, it's blocked by the cardboard and the other container over there. And if they're looking at something over there, then somebody's dumping stuff over in demolition section, and they don't catch that, you know, so it's kind of like, one of the things he put out in his, in the request list was that, things get rearranged, and he has an idea of how to do it, so that they've got full visibility from their, small shack. He was asking for the shack to be, see if we can expand it out, so that if they have 2 or 3 people, they can go in there, put an air conditioner in for the worst of the summer also. And,
Air conditioner's already fixed.
I'm sorry, what?
Air conditioner's already, I was just gonna go through the whole list.
Oh, was it?
I
Okay,
was, cause I talked to Peter about everything
okay,
on the list, so he took out the air conditioner that's in there, it did work, but you gotta shut the door in order for the air conditioner to work. So
Yeah,
he
'cause it's
took,
so small.
right, so he took one from that they had done the DPW and put a new one up there,
okay.
so that should have been there on Saturday.
I didn't,
Yeah.
wasn't sure of that. So, so may look at, review that list, or at least have, I'm sure Peter's reviewed it already. See what we can agree with and or not agree with,
Yeah.
and go from there.
I think when we discussed this before, we kinda left it as Peter's purview, right, cause he oversees the transfer station, and there's nothing really that we need to approve or, you know, unless he comes to us and asks to have like another person there, but even staffing wise, that's within his ability to make that decision.
The other request that they had on that list was if they could get either a slightly larger refrigerator or a second one to keep their lunches in.
Yeah, that's all, like it falls under his, the
His
department
purview.
head,
Peter
yeah.
would have to put it in the budget.
Now, was that control of that actually assigned to the DPW by the selectmen at some point? Or is that something that is just taken, because I was looking at the RSA's and it says that the transfer station is under the responsibility of the selectmen.
As far as I knew, like it's always been Peter,
Or
that's,
their designee,
Does it say or their designee?
just like the planning board stuff, you know what I
I
mean?
don't, yeah, I
That-
don't think the RSA said or their designee, it did say selectmen, but again, planning board can always designate somebody else. I'm sorry, the select board can always designate somebody
Right.
else. But question also was, has that been done? And I don't know if it had been done previously or not.
cause I believe he prepares the budget for the transfer station's all a part of
Mhm.
his budget,
Mhm.
so,
That would be the director of public works is
Yeah.
what he is, so
yeah.
Right,
I would think.
Yeah. And anytime anything's ever come up about the transfer station, we've always just referred it back to
Mhm.
Peter,
Okay.
and there's never been pushback, like, that I've known of. But if there is, and there's something more that we need to do, I'd certainly like to know, so that we can make these things happen if they're not happening as fast as they need to. Because somebody's waiting on, a directive from us, right?
Yeah, since I got the DPW, I'll talk to Peter about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright. Cool. Did you wanna share anything on the list, or just
yeah,
leave it?
I mean, do you want me to? I mean, I talked to
Sure,
him about
please.
everything on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, I'd be
Okay.
interested to hear.
Alright, the first thing on the list was running both the cardboard and plastic compressors at the same time. If there's not enough power to do this, then we should switch between the household trash and either the plastic or the cardboard. And Peter said they can't do it cause there's no 3-phase power down there,
Yeah,
so that's not in the cards. Credit card machine for people, I guess a lot of people are asking for it, so I was gonna look into that square thing,
Yeah.
it's a little thing you swipe, you hook it up to a tablet or whatever.
and then even with Steve, he may have like a different idea of one to use, so you may wanna reach out to him,
Yeah, I kinda
Yeah.
ran that when I was up there that day, putting his phone in and stuff.
yeah,
I said something like like the square thing, or, and he's like, yeah, whatever works.
okay,
So, if there is a credit card processing fee, whoever's using the credit card is gonna have to pay for that, the town can't eat the processing fee,
mhm,
like we do for registrations and stuff.
yeah,
He suggested lines on the pavement to reduce traffic congestion. And when I originally talked to Peter, he said, you know, they can probably do that at some point. But after we were discussing this past weekend, and if you have a third person up there at the first, you know, the big building, then you wouldn't need, cause it just flows, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't need, lines, so that's still, up for negotiation, I guess. He wants a bigger shack, 12 by 12. Peter cleaned it out, so there's not so much stuff in there, so there's more space for people.
Yeah.
So that's all done. They also put a new propane heater up there. He asked for, need at least two 20-amp circuit breakers, not including the electric heater. So he put, Peter put a new propane heater up there that he had down there. He wants windows that open, 2 windows open, 2 windows don't. They're just solid. They're not actually a window. They're just glass.
Yeah.
The 2 windows that do open, and one of them has an air conditioner in it. So you have one window that opens. An AC unit that works. That he put the new one in. Can't leave the door open if you want the thing to stay cool. So he also said the demolition and scrap metal should be, like you were saying, next to each other, so it'll be easier to keep an eye on what's dropped off. If they have the third person, that would take care of that, because the 2 people down there wouldn't be running around like chickens with their head cut off. The list of what needs to be paid for needs to be updated. I guess there's things that they see a lot of that are not on there, and so Peter and I are gonna kinda go through that list, that little brochure thing that we have.
Yeah.
And update the pricing and stuff. And then a third person to check stickers and estimate demo would be a great help, which that would go in the budget for next year,
Yeah.
and that was the list.
Okay.
So, and I also suggested that, we do 65 and older for free, now, as far as stickers go. And I was thinking we should do, veterans should have free stickers also.
Yeah. So one of the issues that I've always had with our system, like you purchase a sticker for the $40, and then you still have to buy bags or pay extra fees for bags. So to me, I don't quite understand why you pay for the sticker if you're paying for bags. And if it's a matter of just proving residency, you know, and then you get the sticker, there's other ways that you could come in and get a sticker, you know, like and prove that you're a resident of New Ipswich, right?
What if you didn't even have to spend money on stickers? What if you just show your registration for your vehicle? Can't register
Wow.
the car in New Ipswich if you don't live here.
You're back to the revenue issue.
Yeah, I always thought the $40 was for the recycle, the tin, the plastic, the cardboard, which we don't charge for. There's metal that you can throw in there that's non-chargeable. There's a bunch of things that if you have the sticker are not billed when you show up at the transfer station. So that's gotta get paid for somehow. That's what I thought the sticker was for.
Yeah.
Could be,
Was to handle the regular services.
Yeah.
could be.
Okay.
In the bags, how much revenue does the bags bring in?
We don't
Do
charge,
people use
we,
them?
You buy the bag for
Yeah.
$1.25 a piece.
what do you do?
If you bring in your own bag,
You have to
that's
pay
$1.50.
$2. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, $1.50.
And that's
Or you
for
can buy a
small
roll of bags for.
if you have the larger bags, they're twice that price.
$2.50.
Yeah.
Which I think is economical compared to what Shaw charges.
Oh, absolutely.
It's absolutely economical. to
Yeah, I
use the
mean,
transfer
You know,
station.
if you've got Shaw's coming by the house to pick up your trash, that's at least $35-40 a month now.
A month, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 42.
And they don't
Is it
recycle.
up now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaw's
Everything's
is
in
the one who,
trash.
Shaw's is the one who comes up and gets all the recycled stuff for us.
Yeah, but if you have Shaw come into your house, it's all dumped in one, they don't recycle like we do at the transfer station, like the town does.
Yeah, they used to designate like one day a month they go around. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, cause it depends on how many people wanna sign up for it, the recycling part. And then I think they had to start charging, and then people dropped right off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and glass too, the $40, right? I can go there,
Yeah,
glass, paper, tin, plastic,
Right.
and my sticker covers that, so that's what I always thought, that's what I was told when I came to town.
That
Yeah.
could be,
alright. Makes sense.
And people complained about this weekend, but obviously people were getting over on things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be to not every week, but spot check it once a quarter,
yeah,
4 times a year, and don't do it at the gate because you were backing up traffic onto the turnpike, which causes a hazard. You know, there's enough room inside the transfer station to set somebody up inside and keep the line, you know, off a turnpike.
Yeah,
And
that's
just
a,
do it as a spot check to educate, you know, the residents. That
Once
you
a
have to
month.
have a sticker, you have to pay for demo, you have to,
right.
once a month, once every other month.
Well, they sold like 40 stickers or close to it.
Well, there's 40 people that were getting over.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Can I make one other suggestion? You know, right now, the old sticker that expired in, I guess, 21, was blue, and the new ones that expire in 24 are blue. And when we order new stickers,
They orange.
they're orange? No, they're the same color. When you order new stickers, can we change the color each time so that a quick glance will tell you whether you're out of date or not? Instead of actually having to look at what the expiration date
We
is.
have so many of those stickers, we could sell them for about 10 years.
And that's fine, but
So
we
we'll
could
just
always,
throw
we could
'em out.
always cycle them over, let's say, 3 or 4 colors.
But we have so many of the ones that
I
we
don't
have
remember
now.
how it works, like, so it is, it gets written in Sharpie or something
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
sticker? Yeah.
Yeah. Which apparently fades when you put it in your window.
Yeah.
Roger was saying that.
Alright, so then, this was just a, like, one time for this weekend to prove something or try something?
To
Or
my
were they looking
knowledge.
to
I mean,
continue? Cause if they're
They-
looking to continue or even have like a spot check,
yeah,
it was clear that we need to rework how
Where
we
it's
conduct
done.
it, yeah.
Well, it was a good time to do it because the old stickers expired at the end of June.
Well, I wasn't questioning the timing, I'm questioning like having people out on Turnpike,
I understand that.
so. I don't know what the
So-
answers to that would be, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure, you know,
We
between
could route them
Peter
over,
and-
you know, just on the road between where the old trash shed was, or the recycle shed. Between the, you know, where you put the broken glass, or you put the glass bottles.
Yep.
You know, since you've got that loop in the road there, it's just stopped them that much further in.
yeah,
Well, he stood at the gate, Roger did, or?
Roger
not at
was,
the gate in the
you know that internal
big
gate?
shed.
You know the internal gate that there is?
Mm-hmm.
It was just inside of that.
Where the big building is.
So was there any, what did Peter say about the issue of the scrap metal and the? Oh, that would be solved by a third person, it wouldn't matter.
That, if you leave it the same way, but if you move the metal and the demolition next to each other, it's a whole lot easier to keep an eye on it.
Are they thinking of doing that then, or?
Well, that's what they're thinking of,
He
that's what they would
said
like to
that.
see,
There's some reason they can't do that though. Peter did.
okay?
Cause on the other side of the demo, there's just the brush pile kind of
Out there, true,
farther off, why
And-
couldn't the
but-
scrap?
next to the demo, before you get to the shack is where you throw the trash bags,
Household trash.
household trash. So if you move that over to the other side of the, I don't know, you know, the logistics would have to be worked out by somebody.
Yeah, there's something logistically why they couldn't do that.
Okay.
I don't know if it had to do with Shaw picking stuff up or I can't remember. I'll double check on that.
if we make sure the flow is addressed though,
Yeah, I get that.
Well, I thank Roger for volunteering his time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and he did a great job.
it was
He
eye
did.
opening,
10 pages of notes he took.
What?
pages, he wrote down everybody's name, how much they paid, what they were throwing out, their license plate, if they had if they were buying a sticker, how much he charged them, so at the end of the day, he would have a running tally of whatever,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's even broken down by, the different bills, the denominations of the
Oh,
bills.
did he? I didn't realize
I
that.
don't know if that was Roger, that could have been the chart that,
Oh, no, that's,
Steve
that's how
made.
they put it in the, yeah.
Well, it's good that these things are being addressed, cause,
Mhm.
yeah, I've heard a lot
Anything
of
to make the
some-
job easier for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And for things to run fairly for everybody.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
there's people taking advantage of some of the services,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Right.
It would have been very good if we had decided to go up on the sticker fee just to offset the costs.
That wouldn't be,
Right,
No,
yeah, it's
No.
not right,
it wasn't
Now
fixing
we
the
know.
problem, yeah,
Right.
no. So
now we know what the problem was.
I'm really happy this is
yeah,
being addressed.
yeah, I thought that was good too.
Alright. Now we'll go on to old and new business. One thing I wanted to bring up was something that you had prepared for us about the sale of land or buildings,
Mm-hmm.
like even like to abutters. So we'd asked you to look into that last week, and I'll let you kinda take it from here, Debbie. I know we had discussed it, but I don't remember everything that you had said to me. Just the process different ways for different scenarios, but
Yeah. So, I talked to, NHMA, and he said tax deeded properties have to be kept totally separate from any other kind of properties, so if we just own the property, it wasn't tax deeded, somebody gave it to us, or we bought it, or however we
Like the salt
obtained
shed,
it,
for instance.
but we've always owned that.
Right,
Is
that's what
no
I'm
one
saying.
gave it, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't tax deeded property.
yeah.
So, it's RSA 4114A, so you have to do a public notice, you have to have 2 public hearings. Because we have adopted that, RSA on our permanent record, that permanent record that I sent you guys the other day,
Mhm.
weirdly, another weird coincidence. So we adopted that it gives the selectmen power to buy and sell, property, but there's certain ways you have to go about it. Anything that was tax deeded, doesn't matter if it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if it was tax deeded, we have adopted, RSA 8080, and we adopted it as written. If you want to do it any other way other than public auction or sealed bid, then you have to adopt, RSA 80:80, Roman numeral 3, which says that you can sell it as justice may require. So, which would still go into that, you have to have 2 public hearings and all that kind of stuff. But those are the 2 RSAs that I printed out.
Yeah.
But tax deeded property is a whole separate ballgame.
Yep. So it's possible for an abutter to purchase it, it just has to go through this process. Alright, yeah, I'll look over that some more, and as we get going, like, coming into that, you know, maybe having another auction potentially, or we should be getting some type of update from the tax collector's office, no? Like a-
Yeah, so we we put liens on a bunch of properties again, but now anything that was liened in 2019 can be can be tax deeded if it hasn't been redeemed. So anything that has a 2019 lien on it, 20, 21, 22, we can take,
yeah,
the town can take for, and there's only certain reasons that you cannot take it, that, so you have to take it supposedly by RSA, but apparently the previous boards have never really taken many properties, not that you wanna, but,
and I can kinda see where it'd fall off too, cause there's
Yeah.
not like, we're trying to tie that in right now, like
Yeah.
where we'd get that automatically.
right,
So is that report, I thought you had said that it would be right about now, like the
Yeah.
end of July,
yeah, end of July, beginning of August, so,
yeah,
beginning of August,
yeah, alright.
give me a break.
Like, that's why I asked ahead, like I
No,
set
I
these
know.
timelines in
Yeah.
my head, yeah,
So, and so there's a form that you have to fill out if you don't wanna tax deed someone's property. And one of the reasons is if they have a payment arrangement, that they can, you know, that you don't have to tax deed it. And another reason is if it would be a detriment to the town or cost the town money. You know, for instance, if it had, contaminated soil or asbestos or some kind of thing that would cost the town money to get rid of it, you don't have to. But there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That I will give to you guys.
okay. Alright, and then we can look into this other option, like for those owned properties, like to go along with it, cause we're gonna be a part of like a public noticing
Right,
scenario anyway, so we could just maybe do it all at the same time and.
Yep.
Alright,
And to add to it, there is a webinar coming up about, I forget the name of it, it's under Invest New Hampshire or something. But they mentioned in there that there could be some grant money available to, for demolition of homes.
so I was rereading that, I think
It
it's
could be read two
only-
ways.
Yeah, I mean, I kinda read it like it was only to do with building affordable housing.
Right, but I saw it as being separate from that. So,
So maybe we should call
and it could be, well, let me go through the course first, or we can go through
Oh
the
yeah,
course
you
first.
signed it, you signed
Alright.
it,
Yeah.
right?
when's
Let's
that
see.
coming up soon?
April something, I'm sorry, August.
Alright, let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
That'd be some good information since we have that one that we're
Well,
potentially
two,
looking at,
'cause,
yeah,
I mean, we could do the old, garage.
yeah. Alright. So do you have anything for old new business, Jay?
No.
Lou?
No.
Debbie, anything you wanted to go over with us
No,
ahead of the meeting? Are you serious?
no.
Good.
She's not serious.
I was gonna say, about an hour ago, you said these 15 things.
Right. So the .gov thing is still in the works, we're getting this close. So we'll have to change over all the email addresses and the website and everything, which Greg is all over that. I got a call from the state today saying that they will be sending out the second tranche of the ARPA money within the next couple of weeks. So that's exciting. Let's see. I had a whole bunch of stuff written down about the transfer station. The other thing, Dave Marizoff from M&N Assessing went over to the DOJ today to just talk to Alan about the cemetery assessment, so hopefully that's gonna be in the works.
That was done today.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Friday and then I had to cancel it, one of them couldn't make it, so he went over there today at 3:00. I would've gone if it wasn't Tuesday, but I never would've got back here for Friday. I think that was it, was there anything else that I mentioned? Can't remember. No, I think that was all I had. the, you had asked for, I mean, it's part of the presentation, I guess, but I couldn't get any prices or interest rates because nobody will lend you a short-term $50,000
Yeah,
loan. I called TD Bank, I called the bond bank, and the municipal bonds, no,
It's
that's
too
too small,
yeah.
so we'd have to find it somewhere else.
No,
That's it?
it's pretty good.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Can we do the public hearing now?
So I also did have some feedback in regards to Hillfest and how traffic went, the traffic flow. And a couple other, police items. But in this resident's opinion and the people that were around them, they live in that general area, the traffic flow went better last year compared to this year. And from their perspective, they felt like our own police department had more involvement last year than they did this year. So they didn't know if that was something that made it, better.
So.
What was the complaint?
There's numerous little, like trying to get in and out to their own homes in the area, getting turned around, being told that they couldn't go certain ways when it was the only way for them to get to where they had to go. It was almost like they felt like that area from whoever was doing the traffic was shut down and nobody, like no residents were moving in and out, so they weren't recognizing like the resident flow, like of the people that live there. And then I think there was something to do with, they had seen, I believe it was like an ambulance having trouble getting in or out, but that was just their observation, their perspective, yeah. Cause I know that we had gotten a good report back from Chief Abel, and the people that were running the event felt like it was good. But I tried to relay to them that, their view wasn't shared by everyone. So we still have to, you can always do things a little bit better, and we'll take these things into consideration and, see what can be improved upon, for next year. So, just something to keep in mind, for the planning for next year's event when that comes up. Then also, they were wondering, they had seen some coverage on the weekends, but they were suggesting that we had some type of more varied coverage from the officers on the weekends.
In general?
In general, at different times, in different spots. After, like again, they live down in that Lock Road area, so they're more familiar with how people just run through that intersection down there, and it's a dangerous intersection. I guess there's a lot of people that just go right past that stop sign, to the point where one of the residents had actually made a spot where a cruiser could park in order to watch traffic, and they haven't been taking them up on that, I guess.
There's been a lot of speeding complaints
Yep.
on different roads lately.
And I know that like enforcement's gone up, but then this person brought up, well, are they actually getting tickets or is everybody just getting warnings? Because if residents are getting warnings, but then out of town people are getting tickets, it's not, and they don't know if that's what's happening. It doesn't seem like it's getting better. It's about the same or more frequent, the speeding and different traffic related issues.
Has anyone contacted Chief Abel about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you get calls about speeding?
I just hear about it at staff
Oh.
meetings. Davis Village Road was one, Appleton Road's another.
And them are two roads that we were told are non-enforceable speed limits.
Yeah, we have them enforced, I'm still looking into that, I knew there was
Seems,
something.
cause them wouldn't be the only roads in town then, because Going Road has that.
Yep.
Also.
Anything under, was it 30 or 35? 30? 30?
Pretty sure.
I think it's 30. Isn't enforceable. Cause the state speed limit is 30 unless otherwise posted. So,
Well, but if it's posted 25, why wouldn't that be enforceable?
I don't know. Cause it's
Unless
not,
otherwise posted.
yeah, higher. So if there's no speed limit sign on a road,
Hmm.
the speed limit is assumed to be 30. Not 40 or 50 or,
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but I was looking into that to see, cause we had discussed before about changing all the roads to
Yeah.
30,
Mm.
still working on that.
Was there an ordinance or something that kept him from enforcing the 25?
No, it's a state thing. Yeah, it's not a town thing.
Well, we have some signs that say 25 miles an hour.
Mhm.
Which Chief Abel had said they're not
Enforceable.
enforceable. Like, I guess you could add 5 miles or take 5 miles an hour off of whatever the speed was. You know, like, and just bring it up to the 30. I don't know how it all worked, or if we have to
Yeah.
change all those signs.
Yeah,
But whatever it is, I'd like to, you know,
yeah,
go forward and do what we need to do.
yeah.
And I believe we're having Chief Abel in the second Tuesday of August, right? 16th or the 20th? Or no,
It's the 9th.
the 9th?
Good night, yeah.
Oh, was it next week, the 2nd?
No, not the
We were-
second.
no.
I'm not gonna be here, and I wanted to talk about the Hillfest stuff and some other.
No, I know, I was
Yeah.
saying were we potentially gonna take the 2nd off?
Oh, that's
We had
that's a
thrown
whole
that
different thing.
I know. Well, that's what I was saying, cause
Yeah.
I think it might have been the 9th that you had said about that.
Okay. Alright, yeah, that's all I had. For old new business,
Okay. Wow.
I guess, make a motion to go on break until our public hearing at 7.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 What kind of a meeting is this? We're here till 10 o'clock.
Getting
State the need for updates and
public hearing,
improvements.
Oh, my.
Video does not
Yeah.
include NIPD's
so, and
property
then I
room
came
or
in and I'm like, oh, I
storage
bet you I can
Thanks
just
for
go on
taking time to
the
watch this
website,
video.
on the town
We appreciate
website
it.
and click on it.
Open the duly noticed public hearing regarding the renovation of our police department. And thank everyone for coming out this evening. Thank everyone that's going to be watching this or reading the minutes as we work through making this important decision on how to best support our police department for the coming years. At this point, I'll turn the floor over to Jason Somro. He's, worked tirelessly over the last couple of years with 2 different police chiefs that we've had, like, on this renovation topic. So Jason?
Thank you. And it was actually not tirelessly. I got tired. Yeah, so that's a good segue into it. When I first got elected, and I think it was the next meeting, I was appointed as liaison to PD. And so I met with Chief Carpenter and a brand new selectman, no idea what liaison even entails. So I asked him, what are some of the things that you'd like to see the select board work on? And no hesitation. We need a place to put people when we arrest them. And then the other one was cleaning. But that's not why we're here tonight. So Chief Carpenter and I worked out, we'll call it a small Band-Aid Now at that time, we had the space that we have there, which is this middle area. And we had a plan that would help. And it was small enough that it could be done volunteer labor. Subsequently, Chief Carpenter resigned, and then we have Chief Abel here. And one of the first things we talked about was, do we wanna get this thing moving, or do you want a little space for a year to get your footing as chief? And that was an easy decision.
Right, yeah.
Find the footing first, and now we're back at it. When we returned to the problems that are there, by this time we heard that Bellows Nichols was not going to be renewing their lease, and so right off, Chief Abel and I were like, this would be ideal, because now we could have a completely separate area for this, detainees. And so from there, we started talking with our landlord and came up with some basic idea of what we could do with the space. In the middle of that, Matthew Wardwell came in and gave a presentation on a full, what do we call it?
Safety
Shared,
complex.
Safety
the complex. And so I asked if he was willing to be a resource to us, and he immediately said yes, whatever needs to be done to help out the PD. And so we got him on board, and he brought in a lot of the knowledge that goes into what's required for a police facility. So this hearing then, while we sat down, we got a sketch, and then Charlie Sari came in with me one afternoon, and we tried to come up with a good faith estimate of how much it would cost to have that area renovated. After that discussion, I talked with several previous selectmen about how to finance it. Some doors are shut because of, mostly shut because it's a leased area. So we couldn't use capital reserve funds because it's not town-owned buildings. I think we could use some of the other funds that are in the budget, but we didn't budget for it. And so that's one big reason for the public hearing, is to make people aware both of the need that the PD has, which I think most people in town are aware of that need. And then just to briefly go over the finances that it would entail, which I'll do after the presentation that Chief has, and then Matthew. So with that, I'll hand it over to Chief Abel.
Okay, well, not everybody knows me, but I'm Chief Mike Abel with the New Ipswich Police Department. Welcome everybody, and anybody that watches the video at a later date or reads the minutes, thanks for taking the time to do that. As both of our selectmen have said, we've been kind of given an opportunity to make some headway with the police department, and probably some improvements if we could get the project approved and moved along, that would favor our operations and would make our facility much more functional and safe. Today we're going to have that conversation with the town. We'll keep it brief and hopefully answer some questions. Some things that we have today, we have a video that was produced by myself and Officer Swenson. Officer Swenson really did the majority of the work. It's just to inform us, or get a little look to the inside of the facility. We purposely didn't beat the PD up with pointing out a million wrong things. We just wanted it to be informative of what we're working with. I've had a couple people come to me since the video has been released and said, I should have really hammered more. And I said, that wasn't my intention. My intention was to just show what we're working with. Let me tell you what we need. All right, so the video is informative. We'll take a few minutes now to watch that. We have some conceptual drawings. that Mr. Ordwell put together for us. He's been really the instrument behind this driving. He's been, every time we ask him to come up with a plan or color code something or make a change, he's donating his time for this. And
Are we okay?
yeah, it's nobody has firearms in the woods.
No.
But so he's been a very big help in this project. Selectman Somero has been like really pushing this project too. He supports it, and we're trying to better our facility. Again, we'll have a video, we'll have some drawings. I'll just talk a bit about the facility, the history, and some of the shortcomings of the facility, and what the renovations would do to help our facility, our officers, and our citizens. So I think the first thing we do is play this video, and we'll just get through this, and then I'll talk a little bit about the history and move forward. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chief Mike Abel with the New Ipswich Police Department. We have recorded a virtual video tour of the New Ipswich Police Department facility. This video is being promoted to make our citizens aware of the current facility status and to hopefully demonstrate the need for updates and improvements. The video does not include NIPD's property room or storage annex. Thanks for taking time to watch this video, and we appreciate your support.
In 2008, the police department was moved to a rented space that we have been temporarily occupying approximately 1,400 square feet of for the past 14 years. The space that we are occupying was formerly New Ipswich Family Medicine. We're currently walking in the front door, which is the only door for entering and exiting the building, which means citizens and arrested individuals both enter and exit through the same door. Once we enter, we're standing in the lobby area. To the right is where you'll be greeted by the department administrator, where she completes a multitude of tasks for the department. Panning to the left, there's a small waiting area with tables and chairs where citizens can speak with officers or file complaints. People are interviewed all within the public eye and within earshot of other people who come into the station. There have been multiple instances where an officer has brought a suspect into custody into the station and past citizens who are waiting to speak with an officer. As you can imagine, this creates an enormous safety issue for both the public, the officers, and the suspect. This area is also where the department holds their meetings and trainings because, as you will see in a few minutes, there is no adequate space to hold these types of events. Let's enter the secure section of the department and turn right down the hall to the office on the right. The space is currently used as office space. Now, we'll go across the hall to the sergeant's office, which is currently used as both an office space and storage space as well. As you leave the sergeant's office, we're going to show you the current locker room, which is undersized for the current number of officers. There is no shower to decontaminate after dealing with subjects possibly contaminated with bloodborne pathogens or other medical issues that officers may be exposed to. Across the hall from the locker room is the administrative office where records and files are kept, as well as a copier, fax machine, and other office supplies. We are only able to keep 4 years' worth of records in this location, and everything else is stored off-site because of a lack of space. Here you can see is the closet within the room that contains all of our IT equipment, to include a server and security camera module. Moving down the hall, the next room on the right is a space that is both used as a workspace and a makeshift kitchen. Our kitchen appliances are comprised of a small refrigerator, microwave, and toaster oven. During a busy shift, it is often difficult for all employees to store their food in the mini fridge. All the cabinets in common space are utilized for paper products and office supplies. The space also allows us to hold video conferences with the state of New Hampshire for motor vehicle hearings. The next room down the hall is a break room / sensitive interview room which contains audio and video recording equipment. In addition, it also serves as an evidence processing room with a portable locker to contain firearms or large seized items of property that need to be cataloged and entered into a record management system before being moved from here to an undisclosed location and secured. The next room is the booking and processing room. Just a quick look around and you will notice that there are no holding cells. In the corner of the room is what is used to secure a subject, which is within arm's length of the officer sitting at the desk completing the booking process. It should be noted that 70 to 75% of all resistance occurs during the initial police officer and suspect interaction. The last 30 to 25% of resistance happens during transport or booking and processing. Just by briefly looking around, this space is entirely inadequate as far as safety goes for the suspect and the officer. This is a large liability for the town and for the officer. You will also notice there's no restroom in this area. The restroom is located between the booking room and the chief's office. This restroom is a community restroom, meaning that the arrested persons and police officers utilize the same bathroom. Without going into any graphic detail, you can only imagine some of the unsightly and unsanitary things that occur that officers end up having to deal with. The last room is the chief's office. The chief's job function requires him to meet with federal, state, and local authorities on any number of important topics. The chief also meets with citizens and community members who want to meet in private for a host of reasons. The only area that is not part of the virtual tour is our property room. Due to safety and security concerns, coupled with New Hampshire rules of evidence and other statutory requirements, I am unable to show that area. The only thing that I can say about the area is that we must leave the building with evidence and move it to a secure location. Also not pictured is a separate storage space that also must be accessed by leaving the main building. As far as safety and security within the department, the entire space is equipped with motion-activated alarm systems that is monitored, as well as an interior and exterior camera system. A fire alarm system also monitors the space, but is not equipped with on-demand emergency backup power, and we have to rely on the Department of Public Works to transport a portable generator to this location for any long-duration event. As you can see, there are many issues that we face every day regarding this facility. Multiple plans have been proposed to address these issues, and currently we are seeking to expand the space into the right wing of the building to support a new booking area that would maximize safety and efficiency. This would also allow us to improve current spaces to ensure a more workable environment for the department. Here, we begin our walkthrough of the space we hope to expand into. The first section would be transformed into a waiting room and interview room, where we could securely interview complainants, victims, and suspects. Please be advised that this entire space would be a secure location and accessible only by police staff. The area with the door on the left would be its own enclosed space that would allow for secure evidence processing. The next space is where the proposed booking area would be located. A main holding cell would be located in the back left area where suspects could be secured and spoken to while completing the booking process. This would create space where a boundary is set between the arresting officer and the suspect, greatly reducing the possibility of an unsafe interaction. To the right, a second holding cell would be located where we could house a second suspect. The sink would be converted into a full-service sink, which would allow officers and suspects alike to decontaminate from potentially hazardous substances. These additions may seem small, but they would add a multitude of security and privacy measures while also giving the police department more usable space. This concludes the virtual tour, and all of us at the New Ipswich Police Department thank you for your time and hope this video has helped you understand some of the issues we face day to day in our current facility.
Brian, can you sign in on that paper? On that table over there? Out on the, outside the door.
What's that?
Can you sign on that, in that paper?
That's something else on the paper. There's some up here.
Did you have something else that you're gonna, up on the TV screen?
Yeah, just some pictures that I could bring up. So first, thanks for watching the video. Is there any questions on the video part that I could answer right away or help anybody out with some clarification? So just to recap, as you know, we took over, or we signed our original lease in September 2008. So that, what I was told, I wasn't here then, it was a temporary move for the New Ipswich Police Department. And as you can see, we moved into a space that's not designed as a police facility. It's really designed as a medical office. We've been there now for 14 years, coming this September, and you know, we've been doing the best we can with the space that's available. I think, as you can see, the space is our home, but it is inadequate. And you can see by the video, when you first walk in, we have that lobby space, and that lobby space, again, is the only way in and out of our facility. There is no emergency exit. These are the same place if we had an active shooter, or if we had a suspect to come in that was unruly, or broke away from the physical control of the officer and there was public in the library, in the lobby, there could be issues, right? We've been fortunate so far. Other than that, once we go into that secure area that we showed you, so we go in that second door, once we bring that arrestee in that second door, there's a free-for-all, the entire department after that. To anybody that's working, anybody that's visiting. We then bring the arrestee in, we would bring them into our booking facility. Our booking facility, as you saw, was this one small room. It's been the way we've been doing business for a while, and it's really not safe. It's inadequate. There's no what I call booking or holding cells. Yes, a lot of the people that we arrest are actually compliant, but some people aren't, right? And those are the people that we have concerns about. And if they were to break free from our custody, when we're in and out of the booking room during that process, they're free to go throughout that entire facility without any deterrent. There's nobody to stop them except for the officer, and if the officer's been taken out, now the people inside with the administrative assistant or people that are there visiting are subject to assault or something else bad that could go on. So there really should be an area where arrestees or detainees, we call them, are brought into a facility that they never have to enter the common space of the police department. They should be able to, we should be able to bring them into a space that's separated from where the general public could be, where our employees are working, sitting at the comfort of their desk, not expecting an assault and an attack. And we should be able to do that and book these people where other people come into the facility and make complaints or pick up pistol permits or whatever their business may be in the facility. The video also pointed out that, you know, when we're in that lobby, many times we're taking complaints from citizens and other people are walking in. And they're like, what's going on? Like, well, this is our facility, right? So we've taken some very sensitive cases at the table in the lobby and have two people waiting in line for pistol permits or other paperwork that they pick up. So that's some of the biggest thing. You know, so if you look at, I took a couple of pictures to show you what a booking area could look like. And the computer loads a little slow, but typically when you come into a booking facility, again, it's separated from the rest of the PD. It's a secure entrance, secure exit. Nobody's coming in or out. It's also a way to detain our arrestee, and if they were to break free from the officer's control, they're still confined within that space. They're not gonna have the fob or the key code or the punch code on the door to get out of the facility and escape. For example, at this facility, we had somebody escape. They went out the window, right? Hence why now our windows have wire cages on them. Again, we can't now escape out that window in a timely fashion if there was a fire or some type of emergency. And if we all know, yes, getting out a window is a form of escape, but it's not ideal, right? Is that gonna stall you? Is that gonna take you time to get out a window, open the window, push the screen out of the way, climb out? Yes, thank God we're not on the second floor, and that is a bit of an option. So here's a booking facility. You can see the name booking room on there. This is a very good model of what a booking facility should look like. So this came in from a sally port, also known as a garage. The doors close behind you. You take your arrestee out, then you bring your arrestee in here. So as soon as those garage doors close, it's a secure facility. No one's coming in and out. This is a secure metal door going in. We bring the arrestee in, and the arrestee could be placed in what we call a booking cell. 4-foot knee wall, all caged in. The officer can now sit here, and you can see that there's that boundary that was mentioned in the video to keep that suspect from escaping or attacking an officer or anything else that might happen like that. I personally have been involved in fights in booking rooms. Some of them very violent. One I was out of work for 4 months after the fight, and that was in that room right there. And it happened to be during the fingerprinting. Took him out of the cell, and he had his opportunity to make his move, and it went down. Right? So it's not perfect, but it's good.
I want to know who won.
Well, he went to jail for a year, and I continued working to support my family, so I think I won.
You won.
In the long run. Yeah, in the long run. It took me 4 months to recover, but I got through it.
Where is that?
This is Wilton PD. So another thing you can see here is a secure firearms box. Did you notice where it's located? It's in the garage outside of the booking room. Did you see where ours was at our booking room? It's in the booking room. So I'm securing my pistol per protocol, which is best practice through the Chiefs of Police Association, that during the booking process, we secure our firearm, lock the box, put the key on our person, remove the person out of the cruiser, bring him into the booking room, and I eliminate a firearm from the scene, right? Now I have a sanitized booking room with no firearms. I've already patted them down. They shouldn't have any weapons. Could they? I guess. Ours is located in our booking room. So when I secure the firearm, if they've been arrested before, they know exactly what that box is. So all they have to do is take me out, grab my key, and now they have access to my firearm. Right? Something to think about. So these are, like I said, some of the shortfalls and some of the things that I think our facility or proposed expansion would address. Again, this is our booking room. This is what our windows have on them to prevent people from escape. It also prevents us from escaping in the event of emergency. Again, that's our bench. That's our lockup box in the facility. So in addition to what I call a booking cell, we also would have a holding cell. So this is again Wilton PD. So they have that booking cell I showed you. Now we have 2 of these cells that are what they call holding cells. So if somebody is being detained for a period of time beyond the normal booking process, they could go into a holding cell. Then there's a camera that faces from the exterior wall into there where they can be monitored as long as they're in there. You can see it has toilets and sinks inside, and with water shut-offs on the outside of the wall. This is in the event that you know, if we detain or arrest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people at a time. Doesn't happen very often, but we have arrested 7 or 8 people at once. We've had big fights and other incidents go down, where we've had, you know, where we gone in and hit a house on a drug warrant, and we arrested a handful of people on drugs, that were distributing drugs, and we have to bring them all back. We have no place to do that in New Ipswich. I have to stuff them all in there, and it's me on 3. And I can only secure 1. Here I could secure at least 2 people in each holding cell and 2 people in a booking cell. That's 6 right there, comfortably. So these are ideas and concepts that we've kind of used to develop the space that we potentially have a chance to acquire. And I'll bring up next the conceptual drawing of basically this, which would then give us some of these safety features. So also inside the building, we noticed that we had a kitchen space. An officer actually has to sit in there and work and be on the phone while somebody's using the microwave and pouring coffee, washing their dishes. And it happens. I'm sorry, it does, because that's the way we have to operate. Then you go down to the next room. We said it was our lunchroom. We actually have to bring suspects in there. We have to interview them and then wash the desk and have our lunch. Or we bring in evidence, all kinds, process them on that table, then disinfect the table and have our lunch. So it's not ideal by any stretch. Part of the new proposal is we would have, inside that first room on the expanded space would be an interview room. Now I can bring them into that area. Nobody's over there except for that person and whoever's interviewing the person, whether they're a victim or a suspect or other. And we have privacy. And then when we're done, they can privately walk out the door and be gone. Nobody has to know their story if they don't want it to be known. Again, we're eating lunch in the same spot, you know. The bathroom, I can go on with that. You know, personally, I've had to go in and clean up urine, spit, blood, and people purposely doing this to the PD because they're upset with us. And I've seen them pee all over the walls, floors, sinks, and then who has to clean it up? The officers clean it up, right? And it happens. So the facility that we are expanding to, or hopefully expand to, has a bathroom already there. Now that one can be dedicated to detainees. And we don't have to worry about sharing the bathroom any longer. That would be great. So what we're looking to do here is we want to have what I call fit and function with adding this potential expansion to the PD. So we need to be able to run administration, we need to run investigations, we need to have a proper place to train, and we need to have the ability to be somewhat self-contained. We talked about, in the video, talked about no training space. So our biggest room is really small, and it's the lobby, and we literally will huddle around in there and try to have training. And one of the things that we're running into is we just don't have the space. And then we'll be in my office, and we'll all be standing against the wall talking. And with law enforcement reform that's been approved and has to be followed by the governor, they're requiring that we train more. It's not an option. But we don't have a facility to do it. So most of us are traveling out of town, out of state, to try to find training. We can't host any trainings. We don't have the space. I had an incident not too long ago where we were doing a warrant on a house for some serious felonies. And we put together a team of 20 officers to hit the house because it was dangerous. We had to line the hallway in the PD because there's no meeting room and yell down the hallway back and forth on the ops plan. Usually you like a whiteboard, something to draw on, answer questions. We don't have that. One of the things that we can do if we make the expansion is we can take that break room and that booking room, remove the wall in between, and at least fit 10 guys in there, guys and girls, for training. That would be something else that's part of the plan. So not only are we taking over space and making a secure booking facility and a place to interview people, we're potentially creating space to actually help with our training, which would be very beneficial as well. We're not self-contained in the event there's a long-term power outage. Right now, if there's a long-term power outage at 5 a.m. on Saturday, I have to call the highway department to find a generator to bring it up, to plug it in and get it going. Are they working on Saturday? No, they're not working. So potentially the PD could go down, and we have about a 30-minute backup on our computers, and then everything goes out. Communications, everything's gone. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Also, with this space, we might be able to accommodate an emergency operations center. In the event of a large-scale incident in the town, perhaps we could utilize some of that space as an operations center for a natural disaster or something different. So what we're recommending here, or proposing, is replacing the floors in the PD. The floors inside the PD right now, probably been there since the building has been built. They are beyond the ability to clean and make them look respectable. The tiles are popping up. It's really in a state of no repair. We really need to replace the flooring. I guess I'll be frank, it's a little embarrassing when I bring people in the PD. And I think with a little bit of flooring and maybe some elbow grease on the walls or some paint, we could make the place a proud spot to be in. So again, creating that separate entrance in and out, now we can actually leave the space we're in now. If there's an emergency, we could exit out through the space we want to require. Would give us a second egress and take care of that safety concern that we have. What else? Well, I won't drag out too much longer, but these are some of the needs that we have, and I would really like to see the support behind this project. Again, I think Matt and Mr. Somero, they've been working very hard. We've met on many occasions, phone calls, emails, just trying to do what we can to put this together and see if we can make it happen. In my opinion, as the chief of police, we have to do something. The facility we have is taking on a great amount of liability. If something were to happen in there, knowing that we didn't mitigate the risk, there's liability, right? And so we're hoping that this project will help mitigate some of the risks of the big concerns that we have. And I think that's really all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll field any questions. Again, Matt's been great. He has some drawings for us, some conceptual drawings that matches similar to this, that would show you kind of how the space would lay out, and I'll let Matt kind of take it from here.
So I do have a question. Would this include a backup generator too?
This project right now does not, but if we get some grant money in the future or something to do that, we would like to do that. But again, that would be a separate project. These are the, you can see just to the right here, these are our plugins for the generator. So we do have, who's an electrician, I don't know the name for those things, but a junction box or quick connect for a generator. So there is a spot, we just have to get a generator there.
Mike, you got a question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you gonna go through the new plans a little bit?
Yeah, Matt's gonna go bring us through. Yep. All set, unless everybody's maybe good.
Are these lights messing anything up, or?
No.
No, it's good.
Good.
It's good.
Cool.
If I stand here, is that good for everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay.
Alright, well, I just wanna thank you guys for being here tonight. My name is Matthew Wardwell, I'm a citizen of the town. I've been working with Jason and the chief for a few months now on this project. My part of the job is right there on the whiteboard. I was asked to draw a set of plans. With that being said, I'm not a licensed or registered architect. I went to school for 2 years. Technically it's 3. I have my associates in architecture, engineering, and I do them on the side. And with that being said, I just want to bring that forward that I'm not a licensed architect, but I, like.
You're a designer.
Yeah, designer, draftsman, yeah. With that being, that's insane. I just want to thank you guys for coming again, and me and Jason, the chief, been working hard on this, and we'd like just show you what we have tonight. So part of my schooling, we did a lot of these presentations. So the first thing you gotta set forth is, why are we building this? Why are we, well in this case, remodeling this? So I know Chief talked a lot about that in the last 20 minutes or so. But part of my presentation, I just wanna go through that again. So really, why we're doing this is a lack of safety and space when detainees come in. That's really the core of this problem. Like I said, you have they come through the same entrance that our police center and regular civilians enter. So we really need a spot where they can be housed just for security reasons in that one. And like I said, no private interview room. So if someone comes forward, a victim who doesn't want their story out there, there's no privacy for them to talk about it or privacy for these detainees. It's an inadequate space for processing evidence. It's in the same spot that they book them. With our plan, we gave them, it's the equivalent of a closet, but we did give them some space where they can process evidence. And limited storage space in general. Like I said, they're storing stuff wherever they can inside the police department. No large room for personnel training or meetings, which we hope to mitigate that. And the floors are unable to be cleaned. That's not really part of my design, but that's just another little thing. Is the floors are a little dirty. So, what can we do to help fix some of these issues? Well, first of all, step 1 is to extend the town's lease agreement to that right side of the building. That's not my department, that's Jason. But that's where the space, because that space right now is currently leased by Bellows Nichols, but they're not in there. But we would need to extend the town's lease into that area. But if we do get in there, and I believe we can, this would allow space for 2 cells, a detainee processing room, evidence processing, an interview room, and a waiting room. And that really tackles the core of the security issue right there. Those rooms, that would be, that would solve a lot of problems the police department has right now. How would we do this? We would join the center and the right wings of the building via demolition work and adding an additional hallway for egress. That would include some demoing some existing walls inside the building. And as far as the flooring, you just need to remove it and replace it, really. So this is the current plan. This is let me go back. So this picture I pulled off Google. I'm gonna call this the center wing. This is where the police are mainly working right now, in that area. And then the left side Acura is in, and the right side is the part that Bellows Nichols is in, or not currently in, but they're currently leasing. So this is the right side. A chunk of this, as you can see, the angle turns, that's part of the center unit. I drew some of that just to give you an idea of where we are. But all the red space kind of looks pink. The police are currently working or have access to. This is not all the space. Like I said, they own a lot over here. That's part of the center unit. But I just want to show this right wing where we're working. We do have access to some of this space. The blue right now is a reception, you've seen the video, is a reception area and an office area, that's where we'd like to move some of the, move some walls around, or add some walls into that area.
So the blue is Bellows Nichols right now?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, the police have access to the hallway, storage units, not units, areas, and the bathroom. So this is a little color coded plan, bear with me. So the red's still the same. The red, the police still have access to. The purple, I deemed it purple, that's where the detainees or the processing goes. Like I said, we go in, come through the hallway, through the waiting room, into the detainee processing where we can fingerprint them, gather their belongings, and move them into either, I believe the top cell will be a booking cell.
Correct.
And the bottom, and that's the top cell. The bottom cell will be a regular
Regular
holding
holding
cell.
cell.
Yeah, we talked about it, yeah. And then below that we have this little purple closet. I call it a closet, it's pretty much a closet, but that's where their evidence processing, that's where they could process what's coming in and out safely. And right below that we have an interview room. And the waiting room is just a conjunction, it's just a moving area, no one's really gonna be waiting there, the public's not gonna be waiting there. Chief and I talked about it, if there was someone under 18 being arrested and a parent needed to come in, they would have that area to wait for the juvenile. Come up here, you see the light blue hallway, that would be the new hallway connecting these two wings. It would take space out of this miscellaneous storage, and you can see we'd have to demo this wall, 3 walls to demo, come through, straight across into this hallway. That would take space out of the miscellaneous storage, but we need that hallway so the officers can move from one wing to another without having to go outside, unlock a door, go outside, go through another locked door, or multiple doors. So we need that hallway. So that's why this miscellaneous storage wouldn't change, I just labeled it green to show you it's getting smaller. But it would also eliminate, because we have that hallway there, it would eliminate the current bathroom. We would move that across the hall into what is currently the sergeant's office. That would be a new bathroom and or locker room, or just storage space in general for the police needed. So that's kind of a color coded part of this project. So I won't get too into, there you go. So I didn't put it on this plan, but this is the center unit, and between the office and the kitchen where the police arrest detainees right now, we'd like to demo that wall, remove one of the doors, patch the wall up, and that would be their new training, meeting room, any sort of storage, really anything. It would just create, make them a large space for whatever needs they need. And then replace flooring and new base board. I did not get to draw this. There was no original plan, and I'm not gonna brag here, but me and Jason had spent a lot of time measuring stuff and just guessing, and so what we have I think is pretty good, but that
That
just
is the original plan that we had to work with.
yeah.
No dimensions.
Anyway, so I didn't, like I said, this is the right wing, and I included a chunk of the left wing, and that left wing, or not the left wing, sorry, and that, the middle wing, that's where I kind of cut off right there, and then I wasn't gonna extend all this to include demo this wall, but we would like to demo that wall, patch it up, give them a new reading. So this is my, I'd say it's like 99% done. We're gonna have to go over a couple things after tonight. But this is the plan. This is the current plan. These are the measurements we shot as accurately as we could. And this is using an AutoCAD program. And we pretty much needed to draw the original layout to see what we're working with, see where the space is. It was a little bit difficult. We had to, what separates the wings is a full-length partition wall. So we had to drill a small hole through the wall. Sorry, Jeff. There's a little insulation wire just to see where we're at on the other side. But yeah, this is kind of in part of me and Jason, also the chief. I believe there was one day. His officers were great at letting us in and out on Saturdays and helping us get these measurements to draw what we need to see in order to get what, is going on here. And I kinda we've already gone over it, like I said, 2 cells up top with a detainee processing room, a waiting room, evidence processing, and interview room below that. And in between those rooms, there would be secure doors, wouldn't just be like this. We need to get doors that are, reinforced, commercial grade with, fobs or key locks, So only the police have access to whoever's going in and out of that room, or those rooms, I guess you should say. We come in the middle, like I said, we have the hallway, no change. In the bathroom, no change, that would just be strictly for detainees. Instead we have a new hallway going to the other, wing of the building. And like I said, miscellaneous storage space gets a little smaller. Because we're getting rid of this bathroom, there's a little jog right there. It's not super important, we get a new closet space if we can, if the walls line up. But yes. And this, I put this in there, technically it's part of the plan. I'm sure you guys have no idea what's going on here, but this is my door schedule. What we're trying to do is, and I'll get this into a minute, but we're trying to mitigate unnecessary waste. So any doors that we could be reused, we're gonna try to reuse them. So this is called a master door schedule. I have instructions, no demo, demo and remove, demo and move. Some doors have to be new, like I said, the secure ones going into those cells have to be brand new. But yeah, that's just my door schedule, that's just part of the plan. That's the end of my presentation. And I guess closing, everything that's been said between Jason and the chief, I fully support. I believe there are risks and liability involved with the current building. And what we're doing is, I told him last week, it's just a band-aid. I don't want to distract what we're doing to you tonight, but I think this needs to help them now within the current, looking towards the next decade. Would we like to get a brand new facility? Yes, but that takes a long time. These guys need it, honestly, they need it yesterday, in my opinion. But with that being said, we are cautious that because we are renovating a space that we do not own, we did look into what walls can we keep. And we really, like I said, there's only 3 walls. I have it here. We really only have to demo 3 small walls. And that's all we're really demoing. And all the other walls are going to be added. 4 walls, one in the center wing. So we were conscious, at least I was, of alright, how are we going to keep this simple? How are we going to get them what they need without going into the 6 figures department, all that good stuff, because this is, they're not going to use it for a day, they are going to have to use this for a few years, but so we were aware of that, and we tried our best to create a plan that works for them, works for the town people, makes sense, because the safety is the core of this, and I think this plan provides that. With that being said, I will turn it over to Jason with the
fun stuff.
The fun
Yeah,
stuff.
if I could just
Oh, we have a couple
Oh,
questions,
yeah,
Matt.
sorry. Questions?
So, the new bath, that's on the upper left-hand side of that drawing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
Sorry.
my question.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna at least get a shower
That's
stall?
what I was gonna ask.
Oh,
well, if we get the funding, we would like to.
yeah.
For decontamination.
Yeah.
We were trying to keep the cost to the limit, but the conversation has been there.
I would think that's a necessity.
Yeah.
I think Matthew said it the best. This is a Band-Aid, and our approach to it was, let's just minimize this thing and get the function. Now, maybe next year, because there's a lot of improvements that could be done to this, that we encountered as we're looking at the situations. But right now, just to get it as quick as possible, get them up and running, and little things like adding a shower, if that's something in next year, or you know what I mean? So that was really the approach, and I know at first Matthew had a hard time with it because he's very much says we need a building,
Yeah.
But I appreciate both Chief and Matthew have really stuck with that vision that I'm trying to keep. Is this is really it's a temporary thing. That doesn't mean it's not important, but it's a temporary.
Well, down the road, it might cost more to put a shower in.
I was
Do
just
it
gonna
now
say
when
that.
you tear it
Yeah.
Do
down.
it now
And-
while it's
and
already
that-
ripped
that
apart.
goes-
Consider that,
And I'm sure anybody who's remodeled a house understands.
I-
You have countless, maybe not countless, but you know, you do one thing and then another thing and another thing, and then you're like, oh boy, my contingency's gone.
Yeah, it's,
So it's,
yeah.
if Chief would have insisted, we certainly would have included it.
If
I
I,
think we should insist.
I
Yeah.
agree.
The town's got
Yeah.
we should.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, even if you don't want it, I think we insist.
And you know, I was waiting to the end. I did want to follow up too. I think I was waiting for the end to bring this up because I knew this would come up. Is that some people would say, why would you put money into a rented space? Why would you spend that money? And I hope the presentation showed you today that, sure, in 2008, I might have bought into that, but we're 14 years here. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, I'll wait. No, it's time to do something. And the reality is, there's nothing that's going to be put on the ballot in March of 2023 for a new police facility or a safety complex. So that means 2024 before a potential vote, even if there's something on the table. And if, let's say for some reason, which I wish would happen, that was approved. Let's say we approved the safety complex March 2024. When do you think we're actually moving in? 27? Right? So it's many years down the road. So if we don't do something now, every month that we put it off is a month longer we're going to be without it and getting pushed down the road. Like I said, I might have been like, yeah, this is a temporary space, 2008, and said, yep, let's see what we can do to promote a facility. We've tried, right? We've done it many times, and we haven't been successful.
That is a perfect segue to the back end of the packet if anyone grabbed it. Part of this approach to things came from a random comment here on a select board meeting by some nefarious chairman. Was like, hey, I wonder if it's cheaper to lease. Well, that really spurred my curiosity, and so I had asked Debbie to do up some spreadsheets for us, just to do a cost comparison. Were we to this year have on the warrant article a $2 million, that wouldn't even do a complex. That would probably just do a PD. So she got some rates from the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank. If we took a 20-year bond, over them 20 years we would pay $2.9 million, roughly a cost of, what is it?
Almost $1 million.
Yeah, 100 and, I don't know, you could say an average of 150,000 a year.
Nope.
Somewhere in there. That was rough. If there's any mathematicians out there, you can let me know later that was a bad estimation. But with the lease, our average yearly cost, well, the current lease agreement we have says up to 5% increase every year. Speaking with the landlord, he said he would do 3% increase. If anybody's kept an eye on inflation, I think that's pretty generous. He's like, wait a minute, we didn't get that in paper. But so we did an outlay of how much it cost, and you can see, looking at a 3% increase each year, the cumulative amounts that would come at the end of 5 years. With the current rate that we're paying, we will have spent $144,000. If we take on the additional space, that space is being leased right now for $800 a month. So we assume that extra $800 a month, that bumps up our outlay of money by about, I think it was $50,000 spread out over the 5 years. Charlie and I sat down that one Saturday and just ran numbers based on experience, my past experience, knowing how much time things take, and his current experience of knowing how much things are roughly going for now. Anybody who's doing construction right now understands that the number that Charlie and I came up with, that was what, a month ago? Month and a half ago? It may be different today.
What were we at with the final? What was the
We
final?
were at right around 50,000,
Was that with the
between
contingency?
50 or 60,000
Okay.
is where we came. And we had a contingency, but then at the last minute, it's like, well, there really wasn't money for GC or. I've been in construction all my life, not in the field for the last 10 years. Previous to that, I was in the field and I was working as a contractor. And the numbers that we came up with surprised me. That was a lot more than I thought it would be. Like Matt said, demoing a few walls and adding a few walls.
You were 10,
It is what
your
it is.
numbers were 10 years old. And I brought you up to,
Yeah.
but between us, I think we had a reasonable, and you kept saying, no, I don't think we can do that now. And I said, we're in here now, we gotta change these lights. We gotta, they're old fluorescent lights, half of them are burnt out, and I said, we need to do it. Once we get this closed down, you need to. So we kept adding, and then the shower, I think that should be added in there. And it's 50 or 60 grand, that's short money.
It's small.
I
It's
looked-
so small. I don't even know if a big contracting firm would even bid on it.
No,
It's more of
no,
a
in
small
fact-
guy, one man.
It'd be a conflict of interest for me, but I don't even wanna bid on it.
It wouldn't be a conflict of interest at all.
It'd be 75 or 100,000 easily to someone to come in, do a public facility and fit it up like you want it. So I think, but you could do it, Jason. You could get the people to do it for that. But it's short money for what we need, and I think it's necessary. And I fully support it, and I have no skin in the game as far as getting to do the work. I don't want to. But, but I think we should do some of the things that need to be done, the lighting and the shower and whatever, even if it's another 10 grand. I think it should be done now. Even though it is a Band-Aid, it really isn't, but it is.
Yeah. And like Chief said, we're years out from
A new
a
building,
new building.
and that's millions.
Yeah, until the right scenario, presents itself. Kind of like on that side of maybe this is kind of taking this long because the right scenario hasn't come up yet. It was difficult coming onto the board a couple years ago and just wanting to support the police department and get that facility and not understanding why the warrant articles hadn't passed already. The couple $1 million was short. It seemed like short money at that time, and even now today, that number's doubled easily. But there's reasons for everything too. So then in speaking with more residents and getting a better understanding of all of the different ideas that have been proposed and what people think of, we need to make a decision now. And there's 1,000 variations even with this. It's been endless text messages, phone calls, emails with different opinions on how we should move forward even with this. But I believe that this is the best plan for right now and possibly to bridge the next 10 years so that we can make that plan of making the best of choices and decisions to move into whatever our new, I want to stay away from the complex, term, but whatever the new facilities are for our emergency services, whether it be, renovating that structure back there or whatever it is, but we need to bridge that gap. And this is really for $60,000.
And that was a big motivator on it, is to get this emergency thing off the table so that we can all think clearly. Because when you have this, it's
And when you look at the numbers, and that's what I can't remember the conversation that we were having, and I think it was just a passing conversation. I can't remember if you had asked me like or made a comment about the police facility or safety complex, and it was more like just 25,000 in rent over 10 years is only $250,000. Why would the public want to build something for 2.5 million? Like it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
and
like,
and the numbers show it.
yeah.
It is cheaper to lease.
Yeah.
If we were entering into a very long-term lease, I don't know if the 3% annual would suffice. It would become a more complex lease. Just talking with Jeff.
I think we had a question out there. So.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One was, this doesn't change the lack of a sally port, and it still looks like there would be a new entrance, but you would still have to come across, go around through the waiting room to go into the processing area. So am I correct in how I'm?
So no, we wouldn't have, this doesn't address the sally port, meaning for some people that's just, it's a garage essentially where you can pull the cruisers and keep them out of the weather, in a state of ready. So this doesn't address that, which would be wonderful if we, at some time in the future, we had that. That's a whole, another shortcoming, but we're trying to move in the right direction. The second question, you should be able to come out of the booking facility into that little, what we call the waiting room, into the hallway and then over to our current space, but there would just be a secure metal door with a code or a fob to get between the two spaces.
So is there still just one entrance?
No,
There's
No.
two.
There was a second one right on the
So we'll
left
have the
side of
original entrance to the in and out of the PD, and the one on the right where Bellows and Nichols uses now, that will be our second entrance.
Right, but doesn't that still come in and go around the bathroom, which goes through
No.
the waiting room into the?
It's right here. So this hallway
There's
goes
the
right
entrance.
now. It goes all the way down into the PD.
Right, the other way is where I'm talking.
And now they would come down here through this doorway and straight out.
Yeah, so technically speaking, if you are detained and you don't have a fob or a code, yeah, there's only one way out here from this area. But as an officer having the right codes or fobs, I could escape this way or I could escape this way.
No, what I'm saying is you bring somebody in from the left side entrance, correct? Or the
The right side. The right side.
the individuals that you would be potentially booking are
Yeah.
still gonna come in through the front
So they're gonna
entrance?
come right through here. Our other entrance is here, the main
No.
entrance.
Yeah, D, that's just the right
That's
thing.
not showing the whole building. They're missing the left-hand part of the
Yeah.
building.
Okay,
Yeah.
This is the right-hand side, and then that.
Yeah, this is the existing space, but we're missing the rest of it.
okay, so there would in effect then be two entrances
Yeah.
now to the
Yeah,
building?
this will address the two entrances.
Okay, I was missing.
Which is really one of the biggest concerns that we
Okay.
have, and equally concerning was not having a proper booking room facility.
I got that one
Yeah.
clear, but I was missing on the two entrances.
Yeah.
I'm like, they still gotta go through a waiting room. Okay.
That's why we added that hallway. I was unsure about that hallway, but once I figured out we could get through in between the two buildings, I said let's add the hallway. That way, essentially, the police department have now two exits.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think, to me, what we're basically saying is right now the police station is $144,000. That's our table stakes a year, right? Or no, 144,000 over 5 years.
Mhm.
That's our table stakes. We can't get any lower than that. And frankly, it's not enough. So I see what you guys have proposed is really kind of a fundamental, there is nothing lower than that first
There is.
level above the 144. So even if we're looking at 5 years, we're only looking at $50,000 difference.
That's
To
roughly.
take on the
Roughly.
extra space.
Yeah, I'm being rough here. but-
And that's just in lease payments.
Right, and then we've
Correct.
got the
Whatever the cost ends up being.
right, but I mean, to me, that's, we've gotten this down to really skinny in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, the cheapest thing we had, or the most affordable option we had, was to buy the building we were in a couple years ago, and we had a company come in and do a conceptual drawing of basically renovating the whole space, adding a sally port, buying this facility, all the land. It was $1.2 million, and we really missed that opportunity, right? Looking back, this was before COVID and before the explosion in this market. Man, what a deal! We really missed, 1.2 million for everything, start to finish, and you owned it. This is we're continuing to move down the road, trying to find something we can do to mitigate the risk and make it a more functional facility. And this is right now it's the best option we have at this very moment.
So the challenge we have as selectmen is right here, what the voters approved. Currently, we're at about, we have 51% of our budgeted money left, which is showing some pretty conservative budgeting there because we've just passed the halfway point. Talking to former selectmen, like I said earlier, funding it, the easiest way to do it and to get this thing rolling quick is to shuffle funds in this budget, which this select board despises. Part of the reason for a public hearing was if that were to take place, to shuffle funds, the public should be aware of that before the deliberative session, before the end of the year. Everybody's aware that this need arose and we have no other way of funding it. Now, this is being sprung on the chairman here, kind of. But if the selectmen see that there's going to be enough money left over once we get prices, it may be the way to fund this. The other way to fund it, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is put it on a warrant article. In that case, we would start work in probably May. It would be March.
April, yeah.
And then all the way, it would essentially be pushing another year.
Yeah.
So it's not, I think there's nothing in the RSAs that would stop us from shuffling money to address something that comes up.
How much money is left? What's 51% of the
So-
budget? What is?
So we had a budget of 4.1 million and we currently have 2.1 million left.
2.1 million, we're taking 60,000,
Yeah.
pretty
So-
small percentage, but
Well, but the trouble is that this is a hot, button topic, that's been going on for a number of years before I even moved to town, and what I'd like to stay away from is adding another layer of discontent and another brick in the wall against renovation or a new facility. So this is all being done in order to gain the community's confidence in how this board operates, what the police department's about, what their needs are, what they've been dealing with, and serving our public, our community. So it's kind of it's this push and pull.
could you do a special meeting of some kind or anything? I don't know,
We may be able to. Yeah, I think that would be, but
A
then
special meeting,
to vote on shuffling the money maybe, or I don't know.
well, I believe that the selectmen have authority to
You do have
shuffle.
authority, but you don't wanna be.
no.
This is a part of a transparency.
Yep.
That people, this is on the table for us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we don't want people to act blindsided.
Do you have confidence enough in the budget to be able to carry through? I know the budget that I'm running up the street, I'm having a lot of trouble with because of the cost of diesel fuel, the cost of
Yeah.
propane. We didn't come close to what we thought we were gonna have to need for it, and I'm just wondering about, are you considering what's gonna happen, say the cost of diesel when it comes to plowing these roads?
Yeah, and these are things, that's why I stress that the select board would consider this. And we're very much aware that this is not our money. This is the taxpayers' money.
I think they're going about it in a really good way, and this is live right now, isn't it? Public knowledge?
Yeah.
Because I know in the past there had been some of the shuffling of the money, well, nobody even knew, and they just went and did different things that actually had been voted down. And then the selectmen, not obviously you guys, but in the past, they just went and shuffled money and went and did it without any real public input or, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and Jim brings up a point, there may not be money to shuffle. We're gonna have to look at it carefully we have a new finance advisory committee, I think that's gonna be one of their first tasks, is to help us to understand what's left.
D?
From a citizenship perspective, I actually think a special meeting would be a good way to go. And let me share my why. Is, to some degree, we said this was temporary 14 years ago. In some regards, we broke trust as citizens with the police department as far as saying this is temporary. So to some degree, I feel like we, the citizens, let the police down. It's almost like saying, hey, I'll stay in a tent, it's only a summer. And the tent became kind of with plywood walls and patches and things like that. So I think part of that now should be the public coming back together and not making you shuffle money. Is if we're literally squeaking by on our budget and we're doing a good job with a budget, then the citizens should be able to say, we have to raise and change, get the police station out of a tent, you know? And so for me, that getting that commitment from the citizenry is probably a really good idea, because it has to be a back and forth. Getting that recognition that we should do this and not making the selectmen do it on something that has been contentious, and having the people come on board might be part of the process.
Alright. Brian?
Yeah, I would recommend that you do it with your first idea of working the numbers in the budget, and I think that's nothing new for probably most businesses, and for that matter, a lot of homes. That's a new way now. We have to be able to work with budgets and work with less and make it do. And also I wanna add, aren't we getting our fuel prices a lot cheaper right now because of the state?
Yeah, that was,
So now when they're saying we're paying a lot more for fuel, we're not this year, is that correct?
Until November, I believe.
Yeah,
Or-
and only for diesel, not for regular gas.
Well, I wanted that brought up.
What about heating?
Not heating, only diesel fuel is for the vehicles, and that's it.
Yeah, right now we get all the diesel fuel, and
Greenville.
yeah, from the state depot in Greenville. So we've been able to kind of hold that budget. We haven't been as heavily impacted as some other communities that didn't utilize that service, like from the state. Sorry.
If you were able to shuffle numbers, how soon would you be able to start construction then, or renovations?
Tomorrow.
no, we wouldn't be able to start tomorrow, we have to put it out to bid still. And part of the reason I didn't wanna go down that path is, first of all, the volatility of construction prices right now. And second of all is, I don't wanna use people's time unless it's real. So now after this hearing, we will pursue the actual pricing. And probably have to schedule with the chief some walkthroughs with, I'm assuming it's gonna be small contractors who can handle, cause it's really a matter of managing a few subcontractors.
And since that idea of having, like, holding a special meeting came up, we'll look at that avenue as well. Cause it's great to have a room full of supporters, but at the same time, we need to hear, like, other ideas and inputs and thoughts too, so, or have the opportunity to get those people into a room so they gain a better appreciation for, you know, what's being proposed. And have as much of the community support as we can, like, in this. So, yes.
Yeah, it was nice seeing the video that Chief did also
what's going on. It really, we kinda, don't we have to look at this as like a safety concern? I mean, the world is like changing whether we like it or not, and if we know that something needs to be done, I don't know, just thinking maybe we should probably
We're-
keep going with it. And I know you're working on it, but like it's, you know, public knowledge is great, and it's like kinda seems like it's a safety issue.
And we're fairly optimistic that the budget can accommodate this. But again, so yeah, it may be able to be addressed rather quickly. Oh, you didn't have anything?
No, I appreciate the support. Just for some numbers, we've had 45 arrests this year, 3,700 calls for service. We've had 265 people walk into the lobby for service. So that's almost, you know, more than a couple a day for this point in the year. We have other law enforcement agencies coming in and out on a regular basis. We've handled over 400 phone calls since January 1. We've taken in 229 pieces of property since the beginning of the year. So there's a need, and people are coming into our agency as visitors or as arrestees on almost a daily basis. And it's a busy place at times. So, and yes, it is a safety concern. And as we all pointed out, that's why we're so anxious to move forward at some point.
If I may, from earlier, the shower, I said 99% of this is probably done after tonight. It's comments like that. I'll go back in, talk with the chief, talk with Jason, and add stuff like that. Take away stuff. That shower, I didn't even think. We did talk about it last week. That space is pretty big for a sink and a toilet. So I made that comment, said, how do I want to present this to the townspeople? And she said, I believe I put it on there.
Yeah, so
Yeah, put it as future locker room.
yeah. So the issue is that new bathroom, changing the bathroom's current location to the sergeant's office, and yes, he has an office to go to, is big enough to accommodate a locker or lockers. And right now, we have one locker room and it's all males. If I hire a female officer, I have no place to put her. And the reality is, it's going to happen. I'm going to hire a female officer sooner or later. They do apply, and I have no place to accommodate that. So now with that, if we made this change, that new bathroom would be big enough to say, you know what, I can put 2 lockers in here. And now I can have a female bathroom and a female locker room. And I don't have to worry about putting her in a closet.
That's right.
And then it'll be another thing. Well, where are we gonna put our shower now?
But anyway, so it would really accommodate that, and in the meantime, you know, I only have 6 locker spaces, but I have more than 6 employees. So that space can still be utilized by a male, and still put a locker in there now to accommodate that. My 7th officer is a part-timer, but now I have a full-time officer coming in next week that's starting to give us a full complement, but I have to kick him out, and now he has no place to put all his gear. So I have to put it in a box or something. That's what I'm stuck with.
Matt drew in a
Yeah,
that
so
closet
that would
in
give me
the
a lot
hallway.
more space
Yeah.
as well. I could put in a couple lockers.
But yeah, it's comments like that, or go back in. This is not set in stone.
So you're only 98% finished.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not 100% done until it's 100% done. You know that, Charlie. But no, like as far as comments like that. I said after tonight we'll go back in, we'll look at what we're dealing with. Yeah, we could add a shower if it's in the works,
Yeah.
or if Chief says maybe we should just
shower,
have that
couple
space for
lockers.
locker room. You know, we'll go back and forth. But Charlie, did you have a question earlier?
No, I'm good.
I thought you did. Sure.
No, I said my
Alright.
peace, thank mass.
No, yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out, you know, thank you very much. We're really trying to operate, you know, really fiscally conservative, even tightening up the belt for this upcoming year if we can. You know, 'cause our whole community is gonna be hurting with all the, higher prices of everything, so we keep that in mind, too. So through that budget process, just trying to take out anything unnecessary and just know that when we're able to, like, I think the community will know at that point, like if the budget goes up, like after we've, taken out some pieces maybe that we kind of really needed to keep in place, but we could do without for a year or two, they'll understand that with as much information as possible being pushed out to everyone, just letting everyone know the decisions that we're making and, you know, the direction that we wanna go. So one of the ideas of not shuffling money is just to keep it so that that whole budget number doesn't become artificially inflated for the next budget cycle. But, you know, we can talk about that, and as long as there's enough information out there and people know what's going on, I'd feel comfortable with it. And if we have community support, you know, we'll most certainly, you know, make those steps.
And just the fact of being transparent, I feel like
Yep.
it gives people more confidence and hey, we're not trying to do things behind your back.
Yep.
This is what it is, you know?
Was there any
I
other
appreciate it.
comments or questions? Mr.
Yeah,
Orwell?
I was gonna say, per the addition process, I think I shouted out 50 grand a couple weeks ago to Jason, and he said, yeah, that's what me and Charlie came up with. So I think, you know, that's a good number.
We'll
But-
see.
Make
But
it 60.
that's the point. I don't wanna end this meeting on a bad note, but you know, with additions, there is always the unknown variables. You start busting down walls, there's pipes there. But I think, yeah, I think 50 is a good cushion, it's based on my limited experience. I think it gives it a cushion. I think it could be 40, 45, realistically.
I like how you're talking.
Well, that
But
was
I
my
could be wrong.
feeling
Could
too.
be-
And then there's
could be-
enough room to get a shower.
It's always more than you think.
Yeah.
So I could be
Yeah.
60.
You know, HGTV, there's always something that
Oh,
goes
But
on.
you know, Matt, I spoke with maybe 3 or 4 other contractors.
Yeah.
Showed them. They didn't walk through like us, but they're like, yeah, it's probably in the neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah, cause you go in, like I said, you might knock down one of the walls that we need to move, and there could be a pipe there, could be electrical box there, I don't think there is, but yeah, there's just always unknown variables, and as Jason said, you know, if we're in there, we might as well look at some things we could fix that you said, Charlie, so, yeah, I just went in that meeting, you know, this is, you know,
Because
something we
the
could.
last thing when we left that Saturday afternoon, and I said, turn around and look. Don't you think it'd be nice to get a new sign?
We said that.
But this is what I mean. It just keeps going and
Yeah.
going, and it's like we gotta stick to the practical, because that's
Yeah.
what the chief is asking for. Is just give me something that works, and he'll take anything else above that.
Of course, yeah, I'm trying to do the best I can to work with a plan that we can get successful support.
Yeah.
So I have a wish list that's as long as my arm, but I'm also realistic. But
And it has been the case.
Yeah.
I'll have to say, working with the chief.
I just want a safe place for my officers and for citizens, and right now we don't have it. So
Well, we appreciate all you're doing,
well, thank you.
and all of you guys too.
And yeah, I shout out to all my staff. They're doing great, and they put up with this day to day, and they support everybody and work hard and support the citizens. So we're very fortunate. We have a great crew. We're very fortunate.
Thank you.
Fund the police.
Yeah.
Fund the police. Fund the police. New
So-
slogan?
So with that, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you for coming out, everyone. Have a good night, and keep checking your emails.
And stop in and visit us once in a while.
Yeah, you got some company today.
You guys gotta keep us on our toes.
No, you're doing great.
Have a good night. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, officer. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you for